Hey, welcome back to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. I'm your host, Coach Zach. I'm here with you guys. You guys threw me for a loop. You're sitting in different places. I'm here with a CJ Hunt, aka Silly C. Wow, it's amazing how you get screwed up when you're like, a little different. And Sweetest Candy Coach Brandy.
Hello there.
Sorry
to mix it up for you
We could
today.
Start over and edit that out, but I feel like we just run with it. So
keep it.
Yeah, we'll just keep it. That's what happens. Humans are creatures of habit. I'm used to you guys being in certain order here. So, all right. Well, there we go. Welcome back, guys. Today we're talking about holiday health hacks. So
say that 3 times fast.
I know. That's probably what screwed me up. We obviously know that would be a bad idea today. So, 'tis the season to get fat is basically how it goes. It's not uncommon. Research shows it's not uncommon during this time of year for people to gain 10 pounds of body fat. So I don't know what that says about the season, but there are parties, there are gatherings, there are lots of different cocktails, combinations of fancy cocktails and things, and just all kinds of negative temptation, right? So wanted to just get with you guys and kind of walk through a few of the things that we think that will help you stay on track and avoid those extra 10 pounds. Mm-hmm. So CJ, aka Silly C, there you are. What do you think, man? Like, throw something out there for everybody on, maybe perspective, but also a tip for staying healthy this holiday season.
Well, it's a time where you get out of your routine, whether it's traveling because you're, going for Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Yep.
And you got to try to stay to your routine as much as possible, which is not easy to do, but don't go all or nothing. If you can only come in 2 days a week, come in 2 days a week. That's going to be a lot better than taking an entire week off. Like, you have to do as much as you can, whether that's working out, or I like to tell people, go for a walk after you eat. Like, that's something that you can do no matter where you are. You're at least then moving the body, and that's really what you want to try to do.
Yeah, I think consistency is always just the key, right? And like, I love that you started with routine, because that is the thing. Like everybody's got their normal routine. They take some time off of work, families in town. There's all these things that throw them out of that routine. And then their consistency of working out, of eating breakfast or eating this way for dinner, or, getting X amount of sleep, hours of sleep, like their bedtime, they're staying up later. All of those things just snowball and throw people for a loop. Right. And so then they almost have no choice other than to just say, oh, I'm just going to, screw it for the rest of the year. And then I'll start back in January. And so they just quit entirely, instead of just keeping up with what they can keep up with.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of it is reframing the holidays, reframing the mindset around the holidays. Because like you said, I think a lot of people just kind of throw their hands up in the air and say, it's the holidays, I'm going to gain weight, and just kind of give up those, habits or that routine that they have. But it doesn't have to be that way. So I would say start with changing your mindset and focus on your nutrition, focus on moving your body. And you don't have to put on 10 pounds over the holidays because that's what you did last year. Change your mindset and continue those healthy habits. I would say, there are a lot of gatherings and parties. One tip that people can practice, or a habit that people can use while they're at a party or gathering, is start with the healthy foods. So fill up on a salad, or if there's a veggie tray, fruit tray. So start with those.
Or eat before you go.
Yeah. So that you're not tempted to have those, other things that may not be as healthy. So start with, or eat before you go, some sort of a healthy meal.
Yeah. So you guys are awesome, because CJ starts with this routine and you start with this mindset piece. And it's like, we have a lot of clients who are high performers, they're, executives at their company or they're business owners or what have you. And so I feel like we kind of get to this time of year and not only do people get thrown out of their routine, but then they also are stressed day to day. And then all of a sudden things kind of slow down this time of year. And so because things slow down, they're like, this is my time to let down.
Right.
And so that mindset piece, instead of them looking at the big picture and going, okay, what are the things that I can do now that are going to benefit me the most? It's just like, oh, okay, how do I get this weight off my shoulders? Well, I'm going to increase the alcohol that I drink. I'm going to have sweets. And it's like all the bad comforting things that end up making things worse in the long run. And so I love that you guys both started with those like two key things, right? Like stick to your routine as much as you possibly can, and then have the right mindset going in about like how I'm going to approach this. And that was kind of what I was thinking for a holiday hack, is like set some boundaries and say, okay, I know that I need to check these boxes. I need to make sure that these are my non-negotiables, that I do these things every day. Here's where I can have a little wiggle room, or here's what I can allow myself to enjoy. And if you plan and you think about that, then, and you stick to it, like you're going to do much, much better than just being like, hey, it's that time of year and I know that I'm just going to go into this and it's going to be a mess and then I'll work it out later on.
Right.
So yeah, okay, that was it.
And ultimately we are in control, right? You're in control.
One would think, right? One would think.
Control. So, when you are approaching the holidays, you're in control over your movement. You're in control over your nutrition. So take that control, set those boundaries, like you said. You can still have fun and enjoy yourself. Just continue to move your body, continue to engage in those daily habits that you have set for yourself for the rest of the year.
Yeah. And CJ, this is like the best time of year in Arizona to be outside. Nope. And so if you have family coming into town and you're doing gatherings and things, it's like, why wouldn't you get the brothers and sisters and nephews and cousins like together and go outside and play football, or you got family coming into town. We got great hikes. Like there's all kinds of things, to go outdoors and do that are physical activities that are going to be some form of exercise.
Right.
Everybody comes here to golf. You can do that. That's moving you around. Don't always get the cart. You can take the hand cart. So you're actually walking while you're doing that too. Makes it even better. I think picking the times where you're going to have fun as well. Don't always have alcohol and sweets. Have one or the other. You don't have to have both or any of them at every party that you go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And an alcohol tip might be, so if you're at a party and you feel like you need to have something in your hand, so grab a bottle of water or have, sparkling soda or something. So if you feel like you need to have something in your hand while you're walking around, so it's not, alcoholic drink after alcoholic drink, or choose a alcoholic drink that's has less sugar in it.
Yeah. And I would say too, because I mentioned like we have a lot of people that are high performers, and then this is a kind of a time for them to, I guess, let down a little bit. But this is also a very stressful time for a lot of people, right? They get very, very stressed because they're in a rush. They have to everybody's buying presents for each other, and there's a lot of, pressure there. And then there's financial pressure, and there's just all these things kind of culminate. And so it's like, yes, maybe you're getting thrown out of your routine, or you're getting to relax a little bit in some ways, but then on the other hand, your stress level could increase. Yeah. And so altogether, I just think it's a horrible time of year. So, I mean, whatever, I know, right? Whatever. I think it's just it's horrible what society does to itself around this time of year. But it doesn't need to be that way. And so I would say one thing is like working out is going to help you with that stress. So Like at the end of the day, if I have a health tip, it's like work out no matter what.
Yes.
Make that a non-negotiable, whether you're stressed or this is your time to let down, whether you're, increasing the amount of garbage that you're eating or not. Like you can control a workout.
Yes.
You can control a workout. And it's like, it could be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour out of your day. Just do it. It's not that complicated. Nobody's that busy that they can't work out.
Right. And if you're traveling, you can still work out. I hear that from people all the time. Well, I'm traveling, so I can't work out. Yes, you can. You absolutely can.
You just don't.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It may look a little bit different than your normal routine, but yes, you can still be active. You can still work out even while you're traveling.
And I'll rant here for a second because working out is really not a negotiable, right? It should be a non-negotiable. And that's the way you should look at it because, if you don't, it snowballs. Right. There are people who are like, well, I'm traveling, I'm going out of town. I got these things going on for the holidays. Okay. What's your game plan? Well, I'll work out or walk or exercise a little bit. And it's like, okay, that's not really a plan. And then they leave town and then a month later, it's like, hey, what did you do? Nothing. And, cancel my membership. I'm not coming back to the gym. They've gone. It's something that they've stuck with and they see so much value in and they're doing so well and they have all this momentum. Why would you stop that momentum? Now we're going to go 6 months, a year, you're going to gain 40 pounds and then you're going to come back a year and a half later, absolutely miserable. And the point where it all started was when you said, oh, I'm just going to kind of like walk and work out on my own and I don't really need the accountability this time of year. And I know that sounds kind of like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not because I've been doing this for long enough to have seen it over and over and over and over again. And it's always the same thing.
Yeah.
And so people, they think they have good intentions and then they stop and then all of a sudden they're like, and then bam, here we are a year later and it's like, okay, I got to do something.
Yeah. I would argue this is the time of year where people need it the most.
Yes. Yes.
Know what you're doing to your body. Because whether you're adding stress or whether you're adding more food, whether you're adding sweets, you can control it. We've said that a bunch of times, but know what you're doing and make those adjustments that you need to, whether you do need to work out a couple more times. If you have a week where you can work out 5 days, work out 5 days. Next week, you can only work out 2. It can kind of even out a little bit. Don't completely stop because it's going to good snowball or bad snowball.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And make a conscious decision, about what you are going to do. And so don't lie to yourself, right? Don't lie to yourself because especially with our members, right? It's like they're here. One of the main reasons they're here is because they need the accountability. They need somebody to make sure that they have an appointment, that they're coming, that they're doing the workout. They need the structure of it. They need the routine of it. And then if they're like, yeah, I'll be able to do this on my own for the next like several weeks or whatever. It's like, no, you won't. Don't lie to yourself. Just like if you're going to make the conscious decision and say, listen, I'm just going to blow it over the next several weeks and I'll come back. And then, at least be honest. I mean, if you do that, then I'm like, okay, at least you understand the situation of what you're doing, but it's better. I guess that's better. The best option is like, just don't stop working out and stay on track. But I guess that's better than than lying to yourself and thinking that you're going to do something that you're not.
That's right. Plus, that's just going to make it harder on you, come January and, you're wishing that you would have stayed on track November and December.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We kind of like veered all over the place. So let's actually hit some tips here for people, some actionable takeaways. Okay. Number one, I think, Brandy, you said like, don't go to a party hungry.
Yes.
Or make sure that when you get there, you start cramming in the good stuff first.
Yes.
And I would say that's probably less likely than you're probably better off when you're at home just to eat, fill up, and then not go hungry.
Right. Don't starve yourself before the party, and
thinking you're reducing your calories for the day. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Go to the party already feeling kind of full.
Okay. Feeling full with good, healthy food, not
foods.
Liquor.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Okay. CJ, give everybody like an actionable health tip of like, do this or don't do that for like based off of this holiday season.
So I would say if you are going to a party and you know you're going to be doing some bad stuff, make sure that you work out that day. If you work out that day, it's not only going to help you, it's going to help you for the next day too, and can help cure the hangover a little bit.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. Don't judge me. Re-gift.
Ooh.
All right. Everybody's giving you garbage to eat and drink that it's just sick. Okay. I hate this time of year, so I just admit it. But everybody's they're giving you booze. They're giving you cookies, crackers, breads, all this stuff. Do not keep that in your house. If it's in your house, you're going to eat it. Don't think you're keeping it for your kids or your husband or wife or whatever. Re-gift it or throw it in the trash. That person that gave it to you does not need to know, right? They out of the goodness of their heart wanted to give you something. They did. You appreciate it, but you should appreciate your health more. So either re-gift it or get rid of it.
That's a good one.
That's it. Don't feel guilty about it. Now everybody's like, Zach, we're not giving you anything like that.
You're not getting any gifts.
Yeah. Like, well, in our
bring Zach broccoli.
It's funny. Our clients actually in the past have re-gifted their stuff to the coaching team because they'll get in, they'll be like, we're not going to eat this, or I don't want this in my house. And they bring it in here and give it to us. And so it's like, okay, well, that's probably the wrong person to give it to, but whatever. We appreciate it. Thank you for the thought, So, okay, Brandy.
Okay.
Give everybody one more.
Okay. I would say teach your kid healthy habits to follow over the holidays. So if you're having
by setting the right example.
Yes, by setting the right example. So setting an example for your children.
Yeah. Okay.
So that can be through nutrition. That can be through moving. So movement throughout the day, going for a walk after you eat, doing a workout, bringing your kids, having your kids work out with you, taking your kids on a hike.
Or skiing or snowboarding or activity. Like, Don't let them sit at home in front of the computer or the Xbox or whatever. Like, get them out. Right. Do things as a family.
Yeah. Your kids are observing what you're doing. So instill some healthy habits in your kids while they're young so that when they grow up, they're not as stressed during the holidays because they know how to instill those healthy habits themselves. Yeah.
And make it about the right things, like by setting the example, like you're either telling your kids or anybody really that you're influencing of like, hey, here's the things that we should prioritize and focus on, or well, regardless, you're telling them that, right? Whether it's good or bad. And so we talked about leaving a legacy. Like, what's the legacy you want to leave? Well, now's a really good time for you to set that example and influence, especially for people this time of year, like they have a lot of traditions, right? Family traditions that they follow. And so that might be, you can set family traditions that will be a legacy maybe 100 years from now that your family still follows. You don't even realize it. Right. Do you want that to be around eating garbage and drinking booze? Or do you want it to be around like, oh yeah, every winter my family gets together for a week-long ski trip, or we do these hikes, or we have this, it could be game night. I mean, it could be anything, right? Like put in the effort, guys, put in the effort to be healthy, but like, don't blow it. Don't completely eliminate your workout routine and your healthy eating habits. If you have some already in place, like don't abandon those this time of year. Right. So, all right, guys, that's it. We'll be back with you next week with more great stuff.
If you can't do what you imagine, what's imagination to you?
Thank you so much for listening to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. Do you have a question that you'd like for us to answer live on the podcast? If so, all you need to do is head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone and do 3 simple things. First, leave us a rating and review telling me what you think of the podcast. In that review, ask anything you want related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And if you want a shout out, leave us your Instagram handle or name. That's all you have to do. Then listen to hear your questions answered live on the next Q&A episode.